Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. I thought I would do a little overview of the channel. We haven't done that in a while. So here is our subscriber base. You can see that there was this huge bump after CES, and then it's been very flat. So been hanging out in the 16,770 range for several weeks now. And I think um, interest in Aptera at this point is plateauing, and I don't think that there's going to be any real movement on that until some large funding news comes through or they reach uh, some very large milestone of production, or perhaps they release all their validation data. I'm not sure, but there has been definitely a plateauing. If you look at our views, most of the views on the channel, the purple line, are returning viewers. So that's you guys. Most of you guys like watch every video, which I really appreciate. And there's very few new viewers, so that kind of goes into it. The other channels that you guys watch is as to be expected. Talos, so Drew is great. He's got his own channel, and then Aptera, obviously. Tello Trucks, because Tello is cool, and then Free Power and Autoline Network. Free Power is another channel that does almost exclusively Aptera content, uh, puts out videos almost every day, and they're a very they're a big fan of Aptera. Then the other interesting thing is the demographics. Again, this demographic skews heavily male, so basically 99% male, and there's a few female viewers. So thank you to you guys, the few female viewers out there. And then we skew older, so almost no kids are interested in this channel, which makes sense because my delivery is dry, it's not memey, it's not fun, and it's a topic that probably 13 to 17-year-olds are not interested in. There's a few 18 to 24-year-olds, and then the vast majority, the largest groups are like 50 and above, and the largest group being 65 plus. So I think a lot of retirees are interested, which makes sense because Aptera is a two-seater. So if you're kind of in this range, you probably have kids, so it just doesn't make sense for you. But if you're in this range, your kids are gone, and you don't need a lot of room for children, so a two-seater works out fine. And then it would be interesting to know like what the interest groups, other interests of the viewers are, but we don't know that. But the viewership does skew very technical, and I think there's a lot of engineers and technical people in our channel, which I find very interesting because I learn a lot from the comments sometimes, especially when I post something about technical things. I've researched it, but I'm not an engineer, so I probably don't understand a lot of the nuance as well. And so I learned stuff from the comments, which I really appreciate. So thanks for your comments. Top geographies, obviously, United States is the highest, so 77% of viewers. Next is Canada, which is number two. And I have to apologize to our Canadian viewers about what's happening between our countries. Sorry about that. I wish it wasn't happening. But and then most people watch it with no subtitles, but there are English subtitles, and you can get auto-translated subtitles in other languages as well. So that's kind of cool. But the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about more is just today I got into this thread with someone named Modern Sunlight, and he seems very interested in me presenting information that he wants to present, basically. And he disagrees with the way that I'm running the channel, I guess. And so I kind of went through here and I offered to kind of platform him. And then at the end, I someone told me, yeah, this he says, "Hey, you should check out his channel." I did not realize that he had a channel, and so because I figured he didn't have a channel, and that's why he wanted me to say the things. But evidently, he does have a channel, and he's got 215 subscribers, and he puts out lots of videos. And I went over there, and I'm like, "Oh wow!" Like all these videos are essentially about me, which I guess would be flattering, but actually, um, I guess it shouldn't bother me, but it kind of did. Um, because I watched a few of these, and he's claiming that I'm censoring him. I'm being heavily censored by Aptera Owners Club. The channel's actively banning criticism. I'm censoring comments. I'm not censoring any comments. I don't censor individual comments. I just don't do that. And then a couple of his channels, he just was saying that my channel is nonsense, and he went over to my buy me a coffee thing and claimed I was just making a ton of money because of 96 supporters. He doesn't understand that supporters means anyone who ever bought you a coffee at any point. It's not 96 members. Um, but anyways, that's beside the point. So his point is that he believes that I'm moderating comments individually, and I am not. There are several people on the channel, which most of you guys know, who have criticisms, and I would say legitimate criticisms about Aptera, and I let them speak their piece. This name not shown, he's or she is pretty critical of Aptera, and but says reasonable things, so I don't mind it. Um, Harriet Anthony, somewhat critical, but used to be a fan. Bill Smith is a consistent commenter. He has got a level of sarcasm that's pretty legendary, and I find his kind of intelligent shade very entertaining. So I kind of like it. So Bill Smith, I find it entertaining, and he has some good comments, and I just like his delivery. Basically, he has the sarcasm down. And Art Smith is another guy that's pretty critical of Aptera. So, anyways, I know. And then there's the flip side of the coin. There's other people that are think that I'm moderating or skewing too critical of Aptera. But again, I do not 100% do not moderate individual comments. I just I don't have the interest in doing that, and I don't have the time to do that. Um, I have a pretty demanding full time job. I have this goal this year of trying to run a sub 3:30 marathon and try to qualify for Boston once in my life. And that requires me to run like 40 miles a week, which takes a ridiculous amount of time. And then I have like a family and a bee colonies and an orchard and a garden to take care of, and have to hang out with my friends on. It's just like there's a lot of time that I have, and this I carve out like an hour or two a week to do some research, make some videos, because I'm really interested in this stuff, and I love Aptera. I'm a huge fan, and I enjoy like researching things that I find out about the news, and learning about engineering things, learning about startup finance things, and then I enjoy like sharing it with you guys. So but I don't enjoy moderating, and I'm not going to do it. And the idea that I moderate individual comments is just ridiculous. I don't do it. Now, do I do some form of moderation? Yeah, I do. There's this community moderation page. I left everything as the defaults. There is no managing moderator. There's no moderators on here. There's this basic moderation, which I don't know. I guess I could change it to no moderation. That's fine. I don't care. I left it at basic because I didn't want if I when I put it on none, it was a bunch of spam was coming through. People like wanting to sell cryptocurrencies and that kind of stuff. So I by leaving it on basic, it kind of gets rid of most of that stuff. People wanting to join their WhatsApp group to um, sell cryptocurrencies or sell fake things. There was a lot of spam that gets filtered out by the basic. So I just leave it at basic, and let the algorithm deal with that stuff. But then there's a list of people that I just found them aggravating. Um, they didn't have criticisms that were uh, that that made sense, and they weren't open to like honest discussion. They were just here to like just bash people basically, and bash Aptera. And I just don't need that. And it's my channel, and that's the only way I moderate. So if you feel like I'm moderating your individual comments, I am not doing that. If I get to the point where I feel like you're just aggravating and saying the same things and not adding any actual discourse, I just add you to this list. And if you're not on this list, you can say whatever you want. And if it's being if your comments aren't showing up, it's not me. It's YouTube's basic moderation, and I have no idea how their basic moderation works. I just know that it filters out most of the spam for people's trying to scam people out of stuff. So there was a problem with that for a while, and so I changed the basic, and that fixed most of those problems. So that's what we do. Um, so the I just wanted to like talk about this, and I made this video a couple of months ago, and I maybe should recapitulate it because this is how I feel about the tone of the channel. I wanted to kind of address this uh, comment that I had on a recent video. It's from RC Archender. But it's not just him. I think I've seen comments similar to this a couple of times on the video, and this is just the most recent one. And it says, your visible waning support and enthusiasm for Aptera is on display and very disappointing. You doubt their timelines consistently. You seem to question virtually every decision the management team makes. I've become disillusioned with your website. I'm looking less and less at your site as a source of reliable, solid information. Now, I have a couple of these comments, and then I have a couple of comments from people who are like, oh, you're just a fanboy. You spin everything positively. You got you don't. Okay, so that's what Modern Sunlight is saying, basically, that I'm just spinning everything. And, you know, I spin it the way I see it, I guess. It's my channel. I'm a huge fan, so I'm going to spin it the way I see it. And then we got other people. Archender was one. There's another guy, his name's GMB. He's a big fan, and he just feels like I'm not as big of a fan, and I should be a bigger fan of Aptera, and I should be way more positive than I am. Understand all the bad stuff that's happening, this, that, and the other. So I have one side saying that I'm not enough of a fan. I have another side saying that I'm too much of a fan. So it's a little bit, a little bit both ways. Well, you know, I'm just gonna say that I've always said on this channel that I am a fan. I'm a big fan of Aptera. I love the product. I like the people in the company, and I really like the idea of a super efficient car. And that's always the car I've always wanted. And when Aptera first came out in like 2009, I put in an order for that because I was like, this is the car that I would build if I knew how to build a car. But I'm also a realist and a pragmatist. So that is kind of the bent of my channel, is that I am a fan, but I'm going to call it as I see it. And if something doesn't sound right, I'm going to say that it doesn't sound right to me. And of course, I've always consistently told you I'm not an engineer. I'm not an expert in financial matters or automotive matters. I'm a relatively intelligent guy that likes to learn about stuff. And making this channel, I've learned a lot about automotive engineering. I've learned a lot about how startup financing works, and I've met a lot of really cool people. It's been a fun journey for me. But yeah, if you're looking for some place that's just like just spinning everything as good news and everything is roses all the time, this is not going to be the channel for that. I'm going to give you guys all the information I can find about Aptera as soon as I find it. And I'm going to give you what I think is a pragmatic, realist view and interpretation of that news. And okay, so I mean, that's basically, I feel the exact same way. If you're looking for a channel that's going to spin everything positively, I'm not that channel. Free Power, that they spin things very positively. There's several other Aptera channels that spin things very positively, and they're not. I don't think they're spinning it on purpose. I think that's how they actually feel. They feel very positive about Aptera and everything about it. I want to feel positive about Aptera, and many times I do, but sometimes I have concerns, and then I'm going to express those concerns. When I'm happy about what they're doing, I'm going to express that. And so that's I'm a pragmatic fan. I am a fan. I've invested in them. I want them to succeed. I really hope they succeed. But I understand that startups are hard and they're very likely not to succeed. And this is what I said a few months ago about investing in them. And I would say that investing in a startup is kind of along the lines of playing the lottery. I mean, like you could win big, but more than likely you're gonna lose. And any startup company, Aptera included, is an extremely high risk investment. So if you need this money in retirement, uh, I don't think it's too wise to invest in a startup company. Now, obviously, if you're Peter Thiel and you're a billionaire, well, you don't really need your Roth IRA for retirement. Like he's got plenty of money, and this Roth IRA is just kind of a play account for him. And if that's a and he just wanted to maximize his tax advantage, and so he did it, and it worked out great for him. So if that's someone's situation where like, hey, you don't need the money in the Roth IRA, it's your play account. If you lose all of it, that's fine. If you make a buttload on it, then wonderful, and you don't have to pay taxes on it, then it might make sense. But if you're in the situation where you actually need the money in the IRA for retirement, then putting it in a startup company, probably not the smartest thing to do. Yeah. So unless let's make it very clear, and I've said this multiple times throughout every time I talk about financial matters on this channel. Me, not a financial analyst, also worst track record ever in investing. I invested in all kinds of stuff that went bad. In fact, I tell every one of my friends that if you do the exact opposite of what I do, you'll probably make a ton of money. Like just sell when I buy and buy when I sell, and you're gonna do well. Like I sold Apple like long ago. I should have kept them. I didn't buy Tesla early on because I thought that they would die. Um, I bought Yahoo near the top, and now it's dead. And I bought several companies that were like wireless, um, supposedly like the WiMAX 4G network. They all died. I invested in Red Hat, Linux. They didn't do well. Anyways, I bought a ton of Lucid stock. Lucid stock is essentially worthless at this point. I bought Canoe stock. They went bankrupt. Anyways, terrible track record on investments. You should never follow investment advice from me. If you might want to do the opposite of what I say. That would probably be a good idea. Um, and also, everyone should know startups are very risky. Um, they are very likely to fail. Even when Aptera has not even gotten to production, even if they get to production, that's still no guarantee that they're going to succeed. Like Lucid is in production, they're still losing a ton of money. Rivian is in production, they are also still losing a ton of money. Um, Canoe sort of got into sort of production, they went bankrupt. Um, yeah, it's hard. So, um, I considered my investment into Aptera more of a donation, and if I because I really want the car to succeed, and if it makes money, I'm going to be happy. If it doesn't, well, I supported them the amount that I could afford to lose, basically. Um, so that's how that goes. But I just I just remember like the whole way that this channel started was this was the very first video that I made. This was back in August 22 of 2021. So it was a long time ago. And I was so excited that Aptera had come back from um from their liquidation several years back, and they were back to making this car that I was really, again, like I said, this is the car I would build if I knew how to build a car. It's a very efficient car. It's utilitarian. That's what I like about it. The form follows its function. I've always wanted a super efficient car. I wanted it to make sense, and this just made sense to me. And for me, cars are a necessary evil. I don't like cars. I'm not a car guy. Um, I know that if you need to go far distances, you need to carry some heavier things, you need a car. Um, I personally try never to drive a car. I ride my bike, as most of you guys know that have been following the channel. I ride my bike to work every day. I ride my bike to pick up groceries. I ride my bike to get carry out. I ride my bike to the gym. But I think a bike is the single best transport vehicle. And I think e-bikes are awesome, which is why I review them. My e-bikes are amazing. And I think e-bikes are kind of the sweet spot. You can easily go 10, 12 miles on an e-bike without much problem. You can carry groceries and some carry out with e-bikes. Um, yeah, they're great. So anyways, but this, if I have to have a car, this is the car I want. I want it. I want an Aptera. If I really just wanted them to succeed, and I'm doing what I can to help them succeed, but I am not going to be blind to it. If I see problems, I'm gonna call it out as I see it. But the way I see it is may not be right, and that's why we have the comments, and that's why I really enjoy the community we have, and people I learn stuff from the comments, and that's been kind of the most fun part of this whole thing is, whenever I went to like uh, the um, fully charged event and EF, and I met so many of you guys, and it's super fun to meet you guys in person and be a part of this community that really appreciates efficiency, sustainability, that kind of stuff. Like these values that we all agree on. So that's been great. All right. So anyway, sorry for going on this rant. I appreciate um, all of you guys' support by watching, and those of you guys who support me on this. I really appreciate that. Like, I don't need it. I have a full-time job, but it just I appreciate the expression of support and thanks, basically, because I do this uh, because I enjoy doing it. I like learning about things, and I like keeping abreast of my favorite startup company, and going across it and just sharing it with you guys. And I appreciate that someone appreciates it. So thank you for that. And thanks for letting me go on this rant. I hope everyone is doing well. Have a great day.